Imagine a blizzard tearing across the Great Plains, wind howling at 50 miles an hour, snow slicing sideways like 1,000 icy needles. It's 20 below zero, a cold so sharp it feels like it's peeling your skin, the kind that freezes your breath into clouds that vanish into the night. You're in a $500 tent, wrapped in a high-tech sleeping bag, maybe even clutching a battery-powered heater. Sounds cozy, right? Now picture the batteries dying, the heater failing, the tent's zippers icing over. Your pricey North Face jacket and Arctic-rated boots turn into dead weight, useless as a cracked phone screen in a storm. Most of us would panic, cursing the cold, fumbling for a signal to call for rescue. But the Lakota, Cree, Inuit, Algonquin, and other native peoples didn't need Patagonia or Rhea. They had bark, fat, fur, and fire, and a knowledge so sharp it cut through winter's worst. Forget Hollywood's romantic campfires or magical igloos. Their survival wasn't luck or mysticism. It was natural engineering, honed over centuries, passed down through generations until it was second nature. Their low-tech solutions, snow caves, ember carriers, feather robes outsmarted our high-tech gear, which fails the moment the power cuts out. Here are 7 proofs that their traditional wisdom still holds lessons for us. Lessons that could keep you alive when your gadgets give up. First, consider snow, the deadliest element of winter to modern eyes. We see it as a threat, something to shovel or curse. But for the Inuit and Cree, snow was a tool. When a storm hit and no tipi or lodge was near, they didn't panic, they dug. A trench, a hollow, a snow cave, carved by hand with a bone shovel or a wooden scoop. Sounds like a frozen coughing, right? Here's the shock. Inside, it was warmer than the air outside. Snow traps air, and air holds heat, creating insulation that rivals a modern sleeping bag. A well-built snow cave could hover near freezing while the wind outside dropped to 40 below. No batteries, no rips, no warranties needed. It got warmer the longer you stayed, your body heat trapped in those icy walls. I've tried this in a Wyoming winter, digging a snow hollow during a survival course. The wind screamed, but inside, it was still, the cold dulled to a whisper. Modern backpackers carry foam pads and reflective tarps, but those fail without fuel or tear in a gust. A snow cave doesn't. It's taught in military survival schools today because it works, just as it did for generations who turned winter's weapon into a blanket. No YouTube tutorials, no manuals, just knowledge etched in memory, tested by storms that would send most of us running for central heating. Now imagine you're miles from shelter, your fire snuffed out by wind, no matches, no lighter, just snow and darkness. For us, that's game over. For native nomads, it was just another day. Their trick? They carried fire with them. Not a torch or a lantern, but glowing embers, scooped from the hearth and tucked into a roll of birch bark, cushioned with dry moss or grass. Slung under an arm or packed in a hide pouch, those embers smoldered for hours, ready to roar back into flame with a breath and a handful of tinder. Think of it as the original power bank, except it charged fire, not phones. No lithium, no cords, just ingenuity. On the plains, where wind could strip body heat in minutes, stopping to spark a new fire with flint or a bow drill wasn't just exhausting. It was deadly. Carrying embers meant warmth, cooking, life itself. I've carried a fire bundle in a Montana camp, moss-wrapped coals warm against my chest, and when I unpacked it at dusk, a single puff brought flames. The Cree and Algonquin perfected this, their knowledge a lifeline across frozen prairies. Compare that to us, panicking when Wi-Fi drops or a phone battery dies. Their panic was an ember going out, because that was the difference between survival and death. The elegance is stunning. A piece of bark, a pocket of moss, and centuries of tradition turned into a survival system. Next time your device fails, Remember, your ancestors didn't carry chargers, they carried fire. Now picture standing on the Great Plains, an endless sea of frozen grass, the wind cutting so sharp it feels like it's carving your bones. No trees, no mountains, just you and the cold. Your $900 Canada Goose parka might buy you a few minutes before you're shivering. Plains tribes like the Lakota had no factories, no FedEx, but they had birds, geese, ducks, even sparrows. They stitched robes lined with feathers, packed tight to trap air, the same science as your pricey down jacket. Air between feathers locks in heat, creating insulation that laughs at sub-zero winds. These weren't slapped together. They were crafted by hand, grandmothers teaching daughters to sew, fathers wrapping sons before hunts. Unlike modern coats, they didn't need care labels or return policies. They were warm, durable, repairable. I've worn a replica hide robe in a Dakota winter, bulky and odd to modern eyes. But stepping into a 30-mile-an-hour wind, I felt no chill, just warmth, stitched with tradition. Modern parkas borrowed this idea, but native robes were the original, worn long before Canada had a name. Their warmth wasn't bought. It was inherited, a technology of survival woven into every seam. Inside a winter lodge, walls leaking wind, the roof sagging under snow, a roaring fire sounds ideal until the smoke chokes you out. Modern campers might freeze or suffocate, caught in a lose-lose trap. Native families had a better way, the hearth bowl. A simple clay or stone vessel, hand-shaped, sat in the lodge's center, holding glowing coals, not a bonfire, but embers radiating steady heat for hours. Like a ceramic heater, but no plug, no warranty. The glow lit the room, shadows dancing as children warmed their hands, parents tucked hides tighter. I've sat by a stone hearth in a reconstructed longhouse, the coals' warmth spreading like a slow pulse, no smoke to sting the eyes. Tribes like the Haudenosaunee knew which stones held heat longest, how to bank embers to last till dawn. This wasn't just heat. It was memory knowing how to shape clay, pick rocks, control fire without wires or bills. While we panic over a flickering thermostat, they mastered warmth with Earth's own tools, a design so simple it never failed. Now imagine your hands going numb at 40 below, Arctic winds slicing like knives. You're thinking frostbite, panicking as your fingers refuse to grip. The Inuit faced this daily, yet they didn't have Gore-Tex or battery-heated gloves. They had seal, not the singer, the animal. Seal skin on the outside, waterproof and windproof. Fur turned inward, trapping air for insulation. These mittens kept hands warm and dry in conditions that would make us beg for mercy. The science is elegant. Fur creates air pockets, skin blocks elements. I've worn seal mittens in an Alaskan winter, my fingers toasty while scraping ice off a sled. Modern gloves cost hundreds and fail if a seam rips or a battery dies. Inuit mittens cost knowledge, sewn by hand, perfected over generations. Picture a hunter kneeling on ice, harpoon steady, mittens glowing with frost, but hands alive. Our tech is fragile. Their tradition was bulletproof, turning biology into technology centuries before patents. Long before energy bars lined store shelves, native tribes crafted pemmican, the original superfood. Imagine a winter hunt, game scarce, weeks from a village, just snow and hunger. Modern campers would starve or choke down tasteless MREs. Tribes like the Lakota and Cree made pemmican, dried meat shredded fine, mixed with rendered fat and crushed berries. Fat burned slow like a fire's logs. Protein built muscle, berries packed vitamins. A small bite fueled hours of travel. A stove lit in your belly. Pemmican lasted months, even years. Without spoiling, try that with a protein bar. I've eaten pemmican on a backcountry trek. Its rich tang better than any cardboard energy bar. Grandmothers taught recipes. Parents showed how to render fat, dry meat, preserve berries. This wasn't just food. It was tradition turned technology, outlasting armies and winters. Finally, picture a winter hunt. Snow knee-deep, wind roaring, no tents, just exhausted hunters lying on frozen ground. We'd tap out, dreaming of heated blankets. Native hunters had teamwork. They slept in a line, shoulder to shoulder, the middleman warmed by bodies on both sides. Every few hours, they rotated the edge guy, took the center, sharing misery and warmth. No batteries, just discipline and trust. I've done this in a survival drill, curled tight under stars, frost steaming from our breath, rotating to stay warm. Modern gear fails when power dies. Their method never did, a human-powered heater built on community. These 7 hacks, snow caves, ember carriers, feather robes, hearth bowls, seal mittens, pemmican, body rotation, weren't about comfort but endurance. We lean on logos and price tags, jackets that cost hundreds, heaters that hum until the grid fails. Native survival leaned on knowledge, heritage, teamwork. A fire carried in bark, a robe sewn with feathers, food that burned like a furnace. These carried nations through storms. Gear without knowledge is dead weight. Knowledge without gear is life. Which hack surprised you most? Drop it in the comments and share your own story of facing the cold. Stay tuned for more lessons from the past that could save you in the next storm. Keep your fire alive, not with batteries, but with wisdom that never fails.